Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming back for another Thirsty Thursday. Hey, there is a ton to talk about tonight. I didn't even really think that there was gonna be a lot going on. I thought it would be just quiet and kind of just chill, and we'll sit back but there's so much stuff that's going on around here that we're gonna have a good bit to talk about. Here in just a few minutes, my good buddy Tim, the Illinois Digger, just returned from his trip to England. We'll learn a little bit about that. First and foremost, I'd love to thank the We Dig It guys for covering for me last week. They did a great job on their live. I tried to participate when I was on my vacation on my anniversary trip with my wife, so I didn't get to hang out as much as I wanted, but I wanted to be there to support them as well. Also, just a quick announcement: next week, Minardo Rob will be filling in on Thirsty Thursday because I will be in a car on my way to Digstock. So Digstock is next on the list. And then after that, it will be a straight shot towards Christmas and finishing up the St. Jude's. I'm going to start back on that a little bit again because I've kind of let it slack and I haven't even paid much attention to it, and that's not fair. So I want to get back at that. And then get towards the end of the year good stuff, when we the time that I get to find a way to give back to all of you that show up all year long. Without further ado, my good buddy Tim is back at his desk and he's ready to rock, and going to get him before I start saying hi.
Hi.
Back.
How's it going?
Oh, man. I thought today was going to be kind of slow. We were going to be able just to have a quiet chat. But the more I looked down and started looking at stuff that we have to talk about, we have a lot we could talk about today.
Yeah, there's quite a bit to talk about. It's going to be a busy hour and a half.
Yeah, this one, we'll see. I'm not sure how long we'll go today. We'll try. But let's go ahead and go through the chat a little bit, and let's hit those folks that are here. Zaxon's in the house. Oh, brother. And so Bone Dead Heathens, that's Risha. Her and James, Iron Antler Adventures, are going to the movies tonight. I can only imagine that she's going to go see something scary because Risha, she has a knack for the macabre. John the Digologist, it's time for a beer run. And my friend Metal Detecting with Randy, who's had a great year on the YouTube circuit. LVUTA. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Congratulations on winning my giveaway on Rob's stream last week. I hope you enjoyed the gift card. Hello, MSay. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate that. Nice to see you tonight. Mr. Steve at Stories Lost and Found is hanging out and showing support to everybody as always. One of my favorite creators on YouTube just because of he seems to be everywhere. Oh, there's Chris at Bear Magnetics. What's going on? He says, let's go. Yeah. My daughter's running football right now, so I kind of got my eye right there just for a second to keep my eye on the game. She's having a blast up there. Ron F. Outdoors is going to try to make it back. Nice to see you, Ron.
He was in here early. Real early.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that happens sometimes. Sometimes we get a good crowd early and they just berate me into starting early. Papa Rouse, what's in the dirt, Mr. Bill? Yeah, I was giving Mark a hard time because he called me Bill for like 2 years, dude. So I had to kind of bust on him a little bit. Miss Mandy Brown, who is everywhere. Thank you, Miss Mandy. I hope you enjoyed your gift card as well. Congratulations on that. Those are so easy to give out. I like it.
Hello, Miss Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy's cool. Chris, the Wicked Digger, just passed 1,000 subscribers recently. He's been having some stuff going on at home. I read on either was his community post or his Facebook page, and was trying to get himself back in the swing. But congratulations on 1K. That's very tough to do.
Yep. We'll probably be seeing him in New York too, probably, huh?
I sure hope so. That's another one.
I believe so.
Okay, I'll get that really fast. Mark says, I'm not Mike, the Berg Hunter. Well, you know what? That's what you get for calling me Bill for 2 years. That's what you get. Secretary Bucci Bonita, that's the Philippine contingent. They are all great supporters. If you have met them, they show you love. Unconditionally, too. Tough word. There's Tony, Mr. Diggs, always glad for Clyde. Another Illinois digger here. That's right. You guys are pretty close to each other, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's that?
That's Tony, Mr. Dig, always glad for Clyde. I'm not sure exactly where, but I know he's close to you. I know he is. Expression of the outdoors. Thank you very much. Yeah, Chris says dig stock. Woohoo. Yes, sir. I'm excited. It's my first time going to the dig stock event, and I'll be there in the spring as well.
I will hopefully be there in the spring. I plan on being there in the spring.
If you have a job or vacation time, right?
What's that?
If you have a job or vacation time, right?
Something like that. Yep.
There he is, Illinois digger Tim, right next to me. Good evening, all you dirty money lovers. Hey, if you haven't, make sure you check out his channel. He doesn't post a lot, but when he does, it's well worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't post a whole lot. I mean, I just took a week and a half long trip to England, and I probably got 12 minutes of video, if that.
Yeah, 12 minutes of video. That'll be a really good 12 minutes, though.
Not really. I mean, it's choppy. I mean, you seen what my big find? I got about 2.5 minutes of that, and the camera's it's all over the place, and it's horrible. I don't know if you can even. If somebody's good at editing could make something good out of that.
You'll do something. It'll be fine. I can't wait to see it. There's Tom Brown. There's Mainly Dirt Fishing. Check Mainly out Friday night on his live. Always working to do stuff for the kids. Much love, Rob. Continue what you're doing, my friend. SoCal Detecting, what's up? Thank you for being here. CL Slot 6. I believe she's in Iowa. She runs a slot machine channel. I watch her so that I don't have the urge to go spend my money at the casino.
Yep.
I'm living vicariously through other creators, so then that way I can save my money for trips. What's up, Shannon? Have a nice weekend, brother. I know you work the same work week I do, so guess what? It's right about that time. And there's Mark again. I'm not Mike the Berg Hunter. I think you are. I think I'm going to try to convince everybody in this world that you are now Mike the Berg Hunter.
It's simple enough. It starts with an M, 4 letters.
I know, right? It's easy to get confused. Miss Teresa, the treasure hunter, what's up? Thank you for stopping in tonight. I'm glad to see you in here for a minute. Dun, dun, dun. There's Mr. Don, Relic Reaper Metal Detecting. What a fantastic guy. I did get to swing with him this year for a little bit. At the end of the year, I'm going to have I'm going to do something on one of my lives about, who all I got to swing with this year. And that list is going to be really huge. That was my main goal this year, was to swing with as many new people as possible.
Well, that list is going to explode in a week.
Yeah, most of the time I've taken trips to make sure I go see new people. But this one here there's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah, how about it? There's
my sister right there, Miss Scuba Sonia. I know she's got more stocked video footage than any human being on the planet. So if she should start making some videos, she could probably make videos one a day for the next year for all the footage she's got stocked up. Nice to see you, dear. Thank you for stopping in. Can't wait to see you in New York. What's going on? There's Tanner right there, Michigan Magnet, man. Can't wait to see you in New York. HD Shovelheads in the house. What's going on? If I don't know that you're in New York, tell me I'm going to New York so I can say it.
Yeah. And then you can help.
It's a good group in here tonight so far. Olin Borden, what's happening, sir? Thank you for being here. Grandma Kelly's in the house. Grandma Kelly, she's right at the end of the night on Monday Digs. I don't always get to watch all her video because I'm out. I got to take the boys to work at night. But Grandma Kelly really puts out some good content, and she is so big on the environment. Gotta love Grandma Kelly. That's what it gets. This chat some days. It's not gonna be too bad today. See, Happy Chappy, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. My word. And I love it when you guys just blow it up. And also, if you're semi-new here or whatever, feel free to drop your link anytime you want. Lost Boys Recovery, Andy's in the house. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here.
Andy,
Please feel free to drop your links. What's that?
I said, Andy, see you in New York.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, boy, I'd be there.
Yeah.
There we go. There's another one. Down with the sickness.
Teresa.
Oh, no worries, Sonia. I don't worry about that stuff. Let's see. Hey, there's Paul from American Woodland Relics. And thank you, Paul. It's nice to see you. I know that this is awful late for you, so I appreciate you taking the time to hit that button. It's always appreciated. FLX Detectorist is in the house as well. Thanks for being here. And I just saw a different one. Where'd it go? Detecting Youngstown 330. Hey, welcome to being here. And I'm going to go ahead and give you moderator status. Feel free to share your channel. Make sure you drop it in here a couple times so that I can get over and check it out if I haven't subbed you already. The name doesn't sound that familiar, so feel free. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Man, we're cruising down the bottom. Thank you, Guidos. I definitely appreciate you, sir. Definitely catch Guido over. I see him over at JP's bar a lot. He's in that community over there for the prospecting side. It's a fun group. I like going over there on Saturday nights. I just have to go to work so early on Sunday that it kind of wears me out.
It's torture for me to watch some prospecting channels because there's no gold around here.
There's not a lot, but you know they fight for what they get and they save it. And he already brings it up. He's already calling for charts. If anybody, that means it's time to drink. So them guys have a great time. That's why I love hanging out with JP. And anybody that sees JP, be sure you congratulate him. I'm pretty sure that last week in North Carolina, where I just passed and went through, that he got married. So awesome. Marty Bristol is in the house at the bottom, and that gets us to the bottom of the list. And I'm going to save some of the announcements for just a little bit, maybe a little later, kind of break up the monotony in between. Tim, how was your flight getting over to England? Did everything go well?
Yeah, it went just as planned, really. I usually book a late flight, and I usually work that day. So by the time I get out of the airplane, I'm exhausted and thinking about bed anyways. So get on the plane, and you ain't gonna sleep through takeoff. At least I ain't. So you take off and get up in the air and have a cocktail, and they feed you, and then by that time it's time for bed. So
Right.
On the way back, I didn't even on the way back, I didn't even eat. Got on that plane, I was so tired. I mean, I was staying up until about 1 o'clock in the morning every single day, and then we were up at 5:30 on the road by 7, or on a field by 7, something like that.
It's pretty nice to have a structure like that, especially when you're hunting. I think that's really cool. Did you get to do your mudlarking day 1 and day 2, or how that was supposed to work?
Not we went mudlarking. So the day we landed, we went around London and tried to find somewhere to metal detect, and that's almost impossible. But believe it or not, we actually got a permission right in London. And so that night, Deej was with us, and Don from Detection Connection was with us. Those two got into town the day before, a day earlier than we did. So when Jeff and I got there, we met up with those guys, and Deej had lined up for Spencer from Future Bleeps. You guys got to check out Future Bleeps. he found out that there was a group of Americans coming to England, and not one person from the UK had said that they would come down to London and greet us. Basically, I wasn't expecting anyone to greet us, but I thought it'd be cool if they did. But I never knew. I didn't reach out to anybody. I didn't know that Deej had, but evidently she had it on one of her live streams, and so Spencer made it a point. He says, well, I got to make time. So he came down. He showed up at the hotel. Was it Thursday night? Yeah, I believe it was Thursday night. And he says, I know you guys got your permission and everything. He goes, but you guys got to look at this book. And he's got this book, and it's got like laminated pages. It's like a 3-ring binder. It's a little small one. And inside that 3-ring binder, there's a page for every single like gold or silver coin that he's ever found while metal detecting. And if he's found like a nice artifact or something, it's photographed on grid paper. It's all the measurements. If it's a coin, it tells you the ruler, the time, the date he found it, what the weather was like that day. I mean, everything is detailed in color photographs. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And on the first page was his Celtic gold stater that he found on one of his farm permissions. So he says, I'd like to take you guys out to my permission where I found all of these coins that you guys are looking at right now. We're like, wow, that's a really nice offer for someone I never met before,
Right.
He goes, I know you got this permission lined up across the street. He says, but tell you what, get up in the morning, go check it out. Give me a call. I'll give you my number. He goes, call me like between 9 and 10. If I don't hear from you by 10, I'll just assume you guys are going to stay here, and I don't blame you. He goes, but if I hear from you, I'll drive back down here. And he lives almost an hour north of London. So he said, I'll come back down and pick you up, and I'll take you to my permission. So that's what he did. We went hunting across the street until about 9 o'clock. I gave him a call. I said, hey man, we're gonna take you up on your offer. So he said, all right, I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. So he drove down, excuse me. And in the meantime, Dave, who is Daddy Digger or Full Metal Digger, he landed, called me and said, I'll be in the hotel in a half hour. I said, well, this guy we just met last night, he's going to be here in a half hour too to pick us up to go detect him. So when you get here, put your machine together and we'll all go. So Spencer took the 3 of us to his private permission for an entire day of metal detecting. He bought us lunch, packed. I mean, he was above and beyond. He just went all out for everything he could possibly do in the short amount of time he had. So it's much appreciated. I mean, there's an open invite for us to come back if we're ever back in the UK. Stand-up guy. I'm so glad I met him. But so we detected one day with Spencer. That was Thursday. And then Friday morning we got up. It was me, Jeff, and Deej. We went down to the Thames and mudlarked for the low tide in the morning. That was all right. It's kind of stinky down there, like everyone said. But all rivers are like that, pretty much.
For sure.
Around here, anyways. Yeah, but I'm glad I did it. It was experience. It's something I was always curious about. Would I do it again? Probably. I mean, if I had other plans, I would probably skip that to go do other plans. But it's something fun to do if the timing is right. And my permit's good for 3 years. So
I really think that experiencing something that you've seen other people do, where you can yield some awesome results too. I mean, you really can find good stuff doing that, and then getting out there and living in their world for a little bit gives you a little bit more appreciation for what they do. The gold panners, I mean, I have a ton of appreciation for how much work they put in to get what they get, and it takes a lot of intelligence to maintain and get all that gold that they get, and they do pretty good. Same with magnet fishing is an art as well. So anytime you get to learn something, that's always a blast.
Yeah. the thing about the mudlarking for us on this trip is, we only went down there one day, so we had about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours that we were down there. We could have stayed down there a little bit longer, but it was just time to go. But about the time starting to get the hang of it and the things you need to start looking for and the areas to be looking at it was time for us to go, unfortunately. And the people who do it every day, they have a little pouch with all their little tools, just like we do when we go out detecting. They got scrapers and picks and things for extracting and raking material, and there's some tools I would like to have had at my disposal. Like if I was back home, there's some stuff I'd have a little kit that I'd be taking down there with me.
Yeah, that's definitely, mudlarking seems like a lot of fun. I like to go pick into it's not much different than bottle dump digging in my mind, except for you might be picking through hard dirt in the bottle dump sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's really similar on how you go about doing your business.
Yep.
Yeah, and really fast, since most everybody is here that's going to be here today, I've decided that from now on there's a few things I'm going to do a little different, and that is I'm going to stop promoting giveaways. I'm not going to promote them anymore. If I want to do them, I'm just going to do them on a regular night, so that the people that show up on every single week are the ones that benefit from those. I've had too many issues where people that don't show up all the time win, and it really kind of bums me out. So I'm never going to announce another giveaway again. I got one that I'll have to announce at the end of the year because there's implications. But just so you guys that show up in here, I want you guys to benefit from when I give back, what I can give back, and I think that's the best way to go about it. There's several things that are probably going to be different like that. And I haven't told everybody, but I'm going to start restructuring a little bit of what I do. And I'm going to take a little bit more time for myself and my family on Thursdays. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do them. I'm going to have like guest hosts and stuff like that are going to kind of run a stream during, so then that way I have a few weeks off every year. Next year is going to be about 30 weeks is what I've got planned for Thursdays. And that's still plenty. And then in between, I'm going to sprinkle in some We Dig It and FL Thunder and anybody else that may want one. What's up, Nez? Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Did I lag, Tim?
Nope.
Oh.
Not on my end.
I saw something stupid happen there for a second. Anyway, those are just some basic things going forward that we're just going to try to keep everything tight and close to the vest. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of what do you call it? It's kind of intoxicating when you see when you see a bunch of people show up in your streams. But if they're just showing up to take whatever you're given, you know what? That's not much fun at all. This is a metal detecting community that's a bigger family than community, and we're going to talk about that kind of stuff and try to enjoy ourselves on a Thursday in here. And then when we do the giveaways, those that are here all the time will be the ones that are the receivers of the prizes. So I like that a lot. Anyway, let's see. So first day out on your actual staged event that you're going to. How did that go the first day?
Pretty good. It was nothing banner worthy for me. Matter of fact, I don't think there's anything banner worthy for anybody in our group. Our first half day, really. Actually, I think I take that back. I think Deej got a Queen Anne love token, silver love token. So I think that's early 1700s. I think just before the Georges. I think I could be off on that. But anyways, yeah. So she was the first one on the board with silver, as I remember correctly. But yeah, we got some greenies and a ton of buttons, bunch of pieces of lead.
Good. Those are honestly really good days because you're finding old stuff, and however old, you can find. I mean, the scope in England, it's a lot broader of how far old you can find. But when you're finding old, early 1800s buttons and stuff like that, that's exciting anytime I find it. So I don't, stuff like that. I know it's not epic because everybody's there looking for the epic.
Yeah.
But those are great finds.
As
Also, really fast, Totally Gnarly Treasure is 8 subscribers away from 1K. He is my 945 on Monday Digs. If anybody in here can help him reach that goal, that would be fantastic. I would love to chat about that next Monday. Totally Gnarly Jesse is absolutely killing it in these parks on these tot lots and stuff, and he has a blast doing it. He is a ring magnet. But anyway, hit him up really fast. And also, yes, Jim, I know you're always around, my friend. You seem to be here all the time, and I definitely know that, and I appreciate that. And you know, on FL Thunder's stream from now till the end of time, if I win a race, my prize is donated to Jim Steele because he can hardly get his duck up front. So I'm donating to Jim forever. So first day, not a lot of super finds come out of the ground, but some decent stuff nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, like them buttons are 1700s, 1800s all day. There's some earlier ones than that. There's Tudor period. I think I maybe even found a Roman button. I'm not even sure Romans had buttons. I know they had fibulas and stuff like that, but I found such a crude looking button. It's definitely handmade. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, I mean, so I don't mean this to make it sound like it's ho hum, but literally, I mean, for us, for around here, I got a brand new permission. I went out there the other day and I found a flat button. This is after coming back from England. I was ecstatic to find that button. I just got done finding probably 250 buttons the week before in England, but it represents something different here. I mean, there isn't that many buttons in the ground here. Like they're everywhere over there. Here, they're few and far between. I know you get on the East Coast, and you're bound to find a handful. If you get on a good property or a good field or something, you'll find a handful in each hunt. But around here, if you get on a brand new virgin site, really, really old one, like out in a field or something, you might get a handful of buttons out of there during the duration of your permission. I mean, after numerous visits. So they're great finds here. But like you said, it's when you spend that kind of money to fly halfway around the planet, you're hoping to find, like for me, I always tell myself, I said, I really don't care what I find. I would like at least come home with at least one hammered silver coin if I could, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. And so far, knock on wood, I've been blessed enough that I've been able to come home with at least one on each trip. And this trip here, it was day 6, I think, or maybe it was sunset of day 5, something like that, before I got the only hammer I got on the whole trip.
I think the main point out of that is that when you go metal detecting, no matter where you go, how you go, unless you've got something that's never been hit that was, you know, completely full of treasure, you know, you may only find 1 or 2 good targets a whole day. If that, there's days that I've had days where I've struggled to find anything good on old sites, and you know, it's just how it goes. It's a lot more work than what you think. If you see somebody pulling good stuff out of the ground every week, then they must be detecting a lot. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. And now you can go back to that same site the next day and you have a killer day. You may have walked right around all the good targets that previous day. We went to the permission. Matter of fact, there's a field that we went to out there that we went to, and we were finding. Matter of fact, it's the field I found that ring on. And we went back there 2 days later, and it was like a ghost town. It was like it just shut off. It was just loaded with targets the first time we were there. Then we went back a couple days later, and it was hot for about 35 minutes, and then it was just like it just shut off. So it's just
Matt. I agree. I know what you're saying, and I'm just going to tell you the way that it looks like the algorithm is set up to change next year. I know you feel that way, but I would keep making the videos the same way you do because that's going to do well. Your videos are always good to watch, and I think that you should continue on. I think it's going to change a little bit. It might help. Who knows? But you should always make videos how you want to make them because it's for personal reasons. We make the videos for us. Make what you like to do because I enjoy your videos. I don't know about anybody else, but I like hanging out. I like it when you get a little mad, though. That's kind of fun. That makes me happy too, dude. But anyway, back to what we was saying.
So to that same point, I noticed this on my late in my first trip. So on my second trip and third trip, I paid a lot of attention to it. I didn't need to pay as much attention to it this time because I kind of already noticed it. But just like you were talking, you can go out with a group of people, and for whatever reason, maybe you're the only person that didn't do well that day, and the couple other people who are with you got 2 or 3 good items, maybe. So I've noticed at the end of the night when we go back to our barn and we clean up, everyone has a paper towel laid out with your name written on it, and you just start dropping your better finds on that paper towel. So that first day, some people got like 10 or 12 buttons and maybe a greenie, which is like a big copper coin, a big large cent or something. And then if they had maybe a cool relic or maybe a hammer silver or something cool, or maybe just a cool what's it, they'll have like 3 or 4 items on that paper towel. And then the next day, maybe they only put 2 more items on there with a couple more buttons. So basically, you're only putting about 2 or 3 to 10 pieces on there a day. But by the end of the 7 days, you've got almost 200 buttons there, a pile of large cents. I mean, it all accumulates over the week. But so that first day, you're thinking, man, I didn't find nothing. And the second day, man, I didn't find much. And the third day, man, I didn't find a whole lot. I mean, one day you're like, well, I've had a pretty decent day today. By the end of the week, that paper towel, you're, man, I need another piece of paper towel. Stuff's overflowing all over the counter here. So it's slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, thank you, my sister. I definitely appreciate that. Try really hard to be as good a community members as possible. But I can't wait to see you guys here in about a week. Looking forward to. I got to text you the address of where we're staying so that you can come by and see us too. By the way, I'll drop that tonight if I haven't done it already. So yeah, man. Just to break up the conversation a little bit. If anybody doesn't know, YouTube added handles like TikTok or not TikTok, like Twitter and stuff like that. So everybody's going to have the opportunity to get their handle. I think everybody should try to have fun with that. If you can't get the name that you want, make sure you take the handle. And then the other thing that I did notice about that I thought was really cool is on the mobile devices, you can now take the mobile devices and you can go into your long form content and you can cut anywhere from 15 to 50 seconds or to minute shorts. So you can cut shorts and then it can redirect back to your videos. So therefore you can use your old long form content to cut short videos and then try to build your subscriber bases and build your audience that way, which is going to be a great tool. I think they need to clean it up just a little bit. I haven't liked how it exactly works yet, but that is another tool that YouTube has added for the mobile side of it to combat TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff like that. So make sure you check that out on your phone. Just access any of your long videos if you want to cut a short for it and cut one and post it. Yeah, it's a good trait. And also if your formatting isn't 9:16 on the video, on this feature, it crops it down for you to 9:16 so that it'll actually fit. Some of us have trouble doing that because we record in 16:9 and our editing software doesn't allow us to do that. So yeah, Sonia, you really do need to get back into it. What I told you and Tanner in Michigan holds true. That's what you guys ought to be doing on your spare time. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it would do really well. So are you making a video about the best find?
Like I said, there really isn't much video to be made. There really is not.
Did it come home with you or did it have to stay?
It has to stay. It falls in all the categories as treasure under the Treasure Act. So it's clearly over 300 years old. It's clearly over 10% precious metal.
One other thing. So the other question that I did have also, FL Thunder Digging with Rob's here. Make sure you look for him next Thursday night. He will be on in my time slot. Rob will do a great job while I'm headed to New York. The other question, did you get all your items and bring them home this time, or did you leave some?
The only thing I had to leave behind this time was everything that I found this trip.
So you have all of your stuff from your previous trips that have been sitting there for what, 2 to 3 years now?
I brought home one item that's been there for close to 5 years, or I found 5 years ago. So yeah, it's been sitting there since 2018.
Wow. Did they look like new items when you grabbed a hold of them, when you got to put them back in your hand?
Nah, it's like seeing an old friend.
Like seeing an old friend. So you got to keep the big piece of gold, right?
Negative. No, that's looking like the British Museum is wanting to obtain that. So that they still have possession of that. The last I heard, they are constructing a valuation committee to decide what it's worth, and then probably present us an offer, me and the landlord.
Mike, hang on a second real quick. Mike, hold on a second. Permission request. I need short magnet fishing clips for a song I made about magnet fishing. If you give me permission to use a short clip, I will list your channel as a contributor. Mike, I would never stop you from using any of my clips. You're more than welcome to do that, but I appreciate you asking. That is always cool. It's not very much fun when you find somebody that takes some of your clips and doesn't ask. You tend to not want to do that. So you're more than welcome. I don't have a whole lot. I've got about 3 or 4 videos, but anything I've done, you can borrow. And thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Also, Mike, I gotta have a chat with you. God, I got so much that I could go through tonight. I might stay on a little bit later tonight. I had a great week in South Carolina last week while I was gone, but I really wanted to talk to Tim, and I might save some of that for when I get back so that I have something excellent. Well, I also want to talk about New York then. I just may go for a while today, so anybody that wants to hear it. So you got to come home with most of your stuff. So how much did you end up getting paid for the one piece of gold?
I haven't got paid anything. Like I said, they're still having. They're going to try and decide what it's worth, what they're going to offer us. So what happened was I got to bring home both my Celtic quarter staters that I found and the gold hoop that I found in 2019. So when that happens, when you find gold, an ancient gold on these landowners' land, they're entitled to 50% of that value. So the club has basically an agreement with the landowners. Certain types of coins are worth X amount of pounds and vice versa. So they got the club president and landowner are under agreement that whatever's found, they get paid for it. So the coins that I found, I paid the equivalency of those, and then the gold hoop, since there's not really a chart on ancient gold artifacts, he basically just did like a bullion thing, just kind of weighed it up and we split its value in gold. So I actually went there and had to pay a bunch of landowners to actually bring my stuff home, but
it is what it is, right? I mean, I think that I'm not sure why they do it that way. And Rob thinks it's bull that you got to wait that way. You think it should be done in 3 to 6 months. Maybe it could be, but it's the way it's always been done to my knowledge. So
the thing is it does take 3 to 6 months to get all, like my pouch. I can have that mailed back to me, and yes, probably 3 to 6 months, depending on how fast the museum processes the paperwork. And now all that paperwork has gone digital. The process is actually starting to speed up a little bit. One reason why it took me so long to get all of my stuff back was, one, the first gold coin that I found over there was part of a hoard. There had already been 10 gold coins found in this field. That's why we were there. We knew there was gold coins found there. That's why we went there. And I actually found another one. So that coin automatically falls into an addendum to a hoard. So all those other coins have been disclaimed. So now mine had to be disclaimed and then disclaimed, if that makes any sense. So there's an extra 6 months to a year on that one item. Now the second gold coin that I found over on my third trip, that thing was disclaimed almost immediately, like within the first month. I mean, by the time I got home, within a few weeks, there was a letter saying it had been disclaimed. The other, the gold hoop and the gold ingot, they're both just rare artifacts. So the museum really doesn't know what to do with those. I mean, they have to construct these committees on specialists on these types of artifacts and items that never been found before. So where do you find a specialist on an item that's never been found before? So they do their best at constructing these committees that they're not going to just let precious artifacts leave the country. That's what the Treasure Act's all about. So these items don't leave the country and just end up in someone's basement or something, you know.
Right. So I think your statement is that the time that it takes is just to make sure that they verify exactly what you found, and to make sure they deal with it properly before letting something that could be, absolutely epic leave the country. I mean, I guess that's fair.
And then another thing that could have sped it up for me also is that coin. Both my coins and the gold hoop have been disclaimed for. One coin's been disclaimed for 2 years, and the hoop's been disclaimed for over a year, and the other coin's been disclaimed for 3 years. Those all could have been mailed back to me if I would ask them. So I could have had those all 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. They've been disclaimed. I mean, I waited almost 5 years as my choice because I wanted to go there and pick them up. I didn't want to risk them being shipped through the mail. I could have had, Chicago Ron could have brought them back for me. I could have just met him downtown somewhere and went and picked them up from him. But I wanted to go back. I knew I was going back.
Hey, really quick, Diggs, by the way, 7 is on my Twitch page today. Definitely appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you for coming in. We just talk a lot of treasure hunting stuff in here and have a good time for a little bit. Most of my Twitch guys never talk, so I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, man.
By the way, I do broadcast on Twitch about every other Thursday, guys. Not a whole lot. I don't have a lot of people over there, but I like to spread it out every now and again, every once in a while on Facebook as well. Dude, that's really cool that at least you got some of your stuff back. So the overall, how much did it cost you to bring your stuff home, American?
Those items that I bought or I had found, I think the one Celtic quarter stayer was 60 pounds, so that's like $75. I had a really, really nice one that was, I think they valued at 120 pounds. So that one was like $135 or something like that, $130. The gold hoop, I think, valued out at bullion price was at like $450. So me and the landowner, I had to pay him $220 or whatever it was for the gold hoop.
That doesn't sound so bad. I mean, you go out, you dig something up. Yeah. But anyway, and Gnarly, you know what? I got a Twitch page. It goes there. I'm gonna broadcast there, even though I'm not a half naked girl. I got it. I mean, I see what you're watching on Twitch, but I'm just doing it there because I've seen people that like to run their streams there, and it doesn't save it. It goes away. So it's a fun place to play every now and again. And you'd be surprised how many people that have come over here from there if you hadn't. So anyway, that's a lot of fun, man. I'm glad to hear that you got all your stuff that you were looking for to bring home. And so they still haven't figured out what they're going to do with the ingot. I'll keep that on my brain.
Yeah.
So are you going to discuss your ultimate find this week that you were over there, the main treasure that you found, or is that going to be, or you want to save it for a video?
I'm telling you, there isn't much video, man.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking because I hate just,
yeah, no, don't steal my thunder.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So it was like what was the I think it was Wednesday, so it was like day four, day fourth or fifth day we were there. And we were on a field and because a couple hams and a Celtic gold stater had been found in this field. What'd you read? So anyways, they hauled some dirt into this off of a construction site and dumped it on one of the farms that we have permission for. So they knocked all this dirt down. They found some hammers and a Celtic gold coin came out of this dirt. So um, we went there with our whole group, and Ron's group showed up too. So there's 14 people on this. It's a gigantic field, but there's only a small area that had this construction dirt. So everyone's trying to go through this construction dirt, and one hammered silver came out of there. I think what was it? A bunch of buttons, of course. There was something else that was found there, but one of the guys peeled off and went across the street to another field that we have permission for, and he was over about 30 seconds. He got on the radio and says, "Well, I guess got a milled silver love token of some sort." And usually, the love tokens are slick, so you can really a lot of times you can't tell who the ruler is. So slowly but surely, people started heading across the street to this other field. We got over there and come to find out that it had been deep plowed because there was potatoes in that field the year before. So there was potatoes scattered all over the field, and it's just all real fluffy, but you could tell it was deep plowed, but it was smooth as a pancake. I mean, had been plowed and rolled, ready for winter wheat. So it was awesome swinging, super easy digging, and since they deep plowed, the field was just loaded with targets. I got a great big Roman sestertius, first century Roman coin. Anyone follows my Instagram page, you've probably seen that on there. So I was like super ecstatic with that. I was thinking to myself, man, that could be the find of my trip right here. I mean, it's a big Roman coin, is in decent shape. Sometimes they come out of the ground, they're fried. You can't tell, it's just a big bronze slug. But this one has a portrait of the emperor. It's got some writing around the edges, so you can tell. And then another guy found a Roman coin. Chicago Round found a Celtic bronze unit. So you've heard of the Celtic gold staters. This is a Celtic bronze stater. It's easier to find a gold stater in the UK than it is to find a bronze stater. So it's a super rare coin, and he found one. Someone else found, I think there was a ham come up, and then the field was so big, and like I said, there were still 14 or 15 people on the field at the time, that everyone had kind of picked an area or picked an area to grid, or someone had picked a pattern to do lengthways. Somebody was going crossways, and so I was just basically just running lines, staying off of footprints. That's all I was trying to do, was just stay away from footprints. And I was going along, and I looked down and I go, "Oop, I'm on some footprints." I took one step to the left and started walking forward, and I got 3 steps, and it's got a little blip. I was like, "Oop, there's something back there. What was it?" And you kind of fish around and look for it. Where was that? Blip, 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 blip. Oh, there it is. Okay. And it was just a 6 on the Equinox, just a little crap aluminum tinfoil signal. Something that if you're at a city park here, you wouldn't dig it. You're on a beach, you're looking for gold, you probably dig it, but the average treasure hunter doesn't dig the crap that low. But in England on them fields, you really should. You really should. So yeah, and it was literally a half an inch to an inch deep. It was basically right on the surface. So I just grabbed my pinpointer and just kind of fished around through the dirt, and all of a sudden, boop, I seen a flash of gold. I was like, oh man, what is that? And it's just like a little piece of wire. I was like, what is that? I could tell it was gold right away. So I just picked it up. When I picked it up, I could see the purple amethyst that was on the. So it's they're dating it between well, they're calling it a medieval ring, medieval gold ring with an amethyst. So you're looking at like 1,000 to 1,300, somewhere in there.
Wow.
A little earlier, a little later. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, that one is cool. What? How did it size out? Was it a women's ring? I guess.
It's gonna, yeah, it's pretty small. I'm really hoping that um that it fits Jennifer. I'm hoping she can wear it sometime. I think it'd be really cool for her to wear, be able to go out sometime and say I'm wearing a medieval gold ring from 1000, year 1000, or
So
something.
here's what I'm gonna do right now while we're sitting in here and everybody can hear it. If it's too small for her fingers, if it's too small for her, my wife has the tiniest fingers ever, and I will buy that ring off of you.
Not for sale, brother.
Oh, come on.
Not for sale. No
My
way.
wife would absolutely, she would something medieval, she would go nuts for. I'll show
I
her a
think,
picture of it, and then she's gonna try to convince me to buy it. Wait and see. You'll find out. You'll know. She's that
no.
way. She gets persistent.
Is it her birthstone too on top of it?
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately not.
Her
I don't
Jen's
even know
knee.
which month amethyst is, honestly.
Jen, what month is amethyst?
Um,
When's Alex's birthday?
February, but
February.
Oh, maybe it. Yeah, it is.
February.
February, end of February.
Yeah,
February?
that sounds right.
Yeah. So yeah, I was stunned to see it, but she said she'd be a little worried to wear it, but she said she would. I hope she does.
She shouldn't be worried to wear it. That'd be fine.
I'd be afraid to lose it or something. But the cool thing about it is, who do you take a medieval gold ring to get it repaired? So
I mean,
over in the UK, the president of the club, he has a goldsmith that has worked on medieval gold items and silver items and has fixed them in the past. He's taken pretty rare hammered silver coins. So, that's really ultra thin silver, and heated them up and annealed them and straightened them out without breaking them, which is pretty amazing.
Sonya's
So,
put in her hand in the ring saying that that's her birthstone for sure.
yeah. So everyone's responding in February.
Yeah. All good. Stickman, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know why I'm the best, but I will take a compliment any day of the week, my friend.
Yeah. I was gonna send you a picture. I don't know can you share pictures and stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Yeah. So that was the big item. I also in my mind I have four like items that stick out that are kind of made this trip. One was the ring. Two was the big Roman bronze. I touched on it a little bit earlier. I found a hammered silver, but not only did I find a hammered silver, it was the biggest hammered silver I've ever found on all my trips. It's I think it's a sixpence. It's a Queen Elizabeth, so it's 1572 Queen Elizabeth sixpence or a half groat or something like that. But it's a decent size. It's almost $half size hammered silver coin, flat as a pancake. It's not bent. Her face is rubbed off of it, but it's pretty typical of the Queen Elizabeth hammers. I guess that I don't know, a lot of people rubbed her face up. They didn't like her or something. And then I also found, so during the week, two of my roommates had found silver Tudor buttons. So they're Royal Navy buttons. Officers would, I guess the officers in the Royal Navy in the 1600s would wear these silver buttons on their uniforms with the Tudor rose on. So it's not uncommon for these Tudor rose buttons that could pop up. And two of my roommates each found one. So I was like, wow, that's kind of rare, not impossible, but cool. Silver buttons, right on. So later on in the week, we were detecting a field on one of the new farms, and I dug up a silver button, but mine's not one of them Tudor rose ones. And it's another silver button that's kind of common and highly sought after in the UK is the I guess King Charles, I think, marriage buttons. So it shows two hands shaken with a heart, I believe. those are actually considered treasure. Those, if you find those are reported to the museum. But they had found these 2 buttons, but mine doesn't have the rose and it doesn't have the shaking hands on it. This one just has, it's like a 6-pointed star, and each point out of the 6 points, 3 of them are one shape and 3 of them are a different shape, and it's all hand etched. It's all pretty symmetrical, but you can tell it's all done by hand. So it's really old. I'm curious to see what the president calls it or dates it when he does see it. So those would be my four most memorable finds from the trip.
Robert must be new to the chat. He asked, do you all turn everything into the government and get it back at a later date? So I guess he was just curious how, a quick brief of how the process works.
Yeah. So when we go over there, anything and everything that we find has to be basically declared not treasure. So what this outfit does, who I go through, he collects every single thing that you find during that week. And what he does is he lays it all out on a grid sheet, photographs every single thing that you find in a grid pattern, and then below that grid pattern, he has it listed and in detail what that item is. So then he takes that entire list and that grid and he sends it off to the museum, and they go through it. If there's anything in that grid that they want to see, he pulls it out of your pouch, sends it off to them, or takes it over there to them.
Yeah, Double G Jigs was asking what's a tip that you would give someone going to England.
Yeah, what would be a good tip? Depends on what you're doing. Elaborate a little bit more and I can help you out. I'm
assuming that he means taking a metal detecting trip. I'm assuming that's what he means.
Prepare for the worst. Just prepare for anything. Everyone, that's almost common knowledge, or what's the phrase I'm looking for? Everyone brings 2 metal detectors. Why? Because you're on the other side of the planet and there's not a detecting shop out in the middle of nowhere in England. There just isn't. You think they'd be everywhere, they're not. If your machine goes down, you're dead in the water. Simple as that. And now you're spent all that money and you're a long ways from home and you have nothing to do. So, I mean, luckily, usually everyone brings 2 machines. So if by some chance you didn't bring 2 machines or your luggage got lost, there's a fairly good chance that someone in your barn will have something to get you going so you can detect for a day or maybe even the whole trip if you had to. But prepare for the worst. I'm not sure what time of year you'd be going. In the spring, the weather, just like here, is fickle. It can be raining and snowing. It could be sunny and comfortable. It could be muddy. It could be dry. It could be hard. It could be soft. The fall is a little more predictable. Weather is usually just that, more predictable fall-like. It's usually cool. When you go in this fall, a lot of times you're at the mercy of the crops. Some crops are still in. Some crops are already out. Some crops are out and the fields aren't plowed, so they're stubble. Some fields are plowed and rolled for winter wheat, which will be next year's stubble.
Right.
Yeah. So
you're all going in April with Ron.
He's going what?
In April with Ron.
So he's going in the spring. Yeah, get some. Do not skimp on rain gear. Go get some really good rain gear, because even if it's not raining, the wind never stops blowing in England, and rain gear is my favorite thing to combat the wind. Instead of putting on 17 layers of shirts and stuff to try and stop the wind, I'll put on a nice t-shirt, maybe a long sleeve and a hoodie, and put my rain jacket on, and that the wind's no longer even a thought in your head. Unless you're trying to film, then you won't be able to hear anything. But it never stops. So spend the money on some good rain gear. That's my good tip. Get yourself some good muck boots. Another good tip. My first trip over there, we encountered the beast from the east, the worst spring storm to hit the UK in 40 years. They had like 50-mile-an-hour winds, and I was out there in it. And one thing, our barn leader at the time, she let me borrow one of them neck gaiters, those cheap, like just like a sleeve off your t-shirts. All it's super thin, but man, did that thing really help with the wind going down my shirt, and just it no more chills. So I was able to stay out. Yeah, Mr. Diggs, Gore-Tex, man. That's all my good outdoor gear has Gore-Tex in it. My boots, my rain gear, all my hunting stuff. When I used to deer hunt, it's all Gore-Tex. It's all very expensive, but it's all
It lasts.
It lasts. And if you're ever caught out in the worst of the worst, you're so glad you spent the extra couple bucks on that Gore-Tex.
So, going back, why don't you, and yeah, so I mean, the weather's fickle in England. We've seen that on everybody that goes over there. Why don't you tell me what is some of the native dishes that you find completely disgusting? Is there anything over there that you wanted to try to eat that you hadn't, or that you ate, or something that sounds gross that you ate? Because I know that everybody talks about the food and that it's so different. So anything like that?
Yeah. So there's a couple. I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the things that I'd always heard Ron talk about in his videos were these steak and ale pies. Steak and ale pie. That sounds different.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good, right? And I'm not a beer drinker, so ale, when you start talking about ale, that puts me on guard. So, but I told myself I'm in England. I'm going to try one. I'm going to order one. If I don't like it, I just won't eat it. I just won't finish it. That's all there is. I'll go hungry. I'll find something else. So I told you we were walking around looking for permissions, and we stopped into this pub and had a pint. Well, we decided we're going to go back there that night for dinner. And on the menu was a steak and ale pie. I was like, that's what I'm going to get. So I had a steak and ale pie. Delish.
Yeah.
Oh God, man. It's like a huge, like a big pot pie like a big pot pie. I mean, it's almost exactly what it is. It's a steak and ale pie. It's like a steak pot pie. It's got vegetables in it and the gravy and all that stuff and hard, crispy crust. And they serve it with mashed potatoes and
sounds fantastic.
Oh, great. And then one thing that I will never try when I go over there, but it's on every single buffet you go to, is blood pudding. I'll never eat that. Doesn't even sound good. One thing, I don't know if you've ever been there, for the people who have been there or have eaten traditional English food, staple over there is Sunday roast. So every pub you go into, any restaurant on Sunday, they have a traditional Sunday roast, which consists of either a beef, a pork, or a chicken or something with vegetables and potatoes, and just a traditional roast meal. But on the side, they usually always serve what they call Yorkshire pudding. And you would think Yorkshire pudding is like pudding or like a dessert. So like first time I ever came out, on my very first trip, I ordered a meal and it came out, and here's this thing sitting on my plate, and it looks like almost like a little pot pie or something, like this puff pastry looking type thing. And like, man, that thing just looks delicious. That's like the dessert part of my meal. So I'll say that to the last. So I'm eating my whole meal and working around this thing that's on my plate, and I'm finally getting towards the end of the meal, and you can tell it's kind of bready looking, and it's kind of time to start cleaning your plate up. And I grab this thing, I break it open, and it's just like very airy, kind of like croissant, like flaky, bready thing. So you kind of use that to slap up your gravy and stuff. And I couldn't wait to taste it, so I just broke off some of that crust and put it in my mouth, and it tasted like air. Tasted absolutely no flavor to it. It's just kind of weird. I mean, it looked delicious. And I saved it my whole meal, and it was kind of a letdown. Now this trip I went back, and it seemed like every meal I had, they serve Yorkshire pudding with all of them. And I'm finding out that it's kind of probably like people making chili back here in the States. if you know how to make it, it's pretty decent. If you don't, it's probably not that good. And I think the Yorkshire pudding kind of goes the same way. None of it has any. It's still all kind of that Yorkshire pudding is really kind of a bland thing. It's just, like I say, I think a flaky, whatever breading type thing. But well, some were better than others. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of my. And people say, "Oh, their food is bland." Some of it is, some of it isn't. Tell you one thing: if you're into sweets, their sodas and their candies over there are way better than ours here because they use real sugar in all their stuff over there.
Adventures with I Am Pawpaw. Welcome, sir. You are more than welcome to share your channel in here. Everybody that's come in today, I have added as a moderator, and you can share whatever links that you like. Just be respectful. Mark Miller's in the house as well. Thanks for stopping by, Mark. I appreciate you very much. Can't wait to hear you sing next year again. It's always fun at Flash Bash. Oh yeah, that's another place. It's a lot of fun hanging with those guys. You know, man, we'll probably cut her a little short here in just a little bit this week. And then I will wait until I get back. I'll just save topics for when I get back from New York. Speaking of the New York, you know, next week the weather up there should be unpredictable as well. It's probably going to be cold and windy and wet. It could be really cold up there that time of year, I guess.
All that good rain gear I was just talking about, that's coming with me.
For sure.
Heck yeah, man. There could be. I looked at. Well, I guess it was earlier in the week. I looked, and I think it said. I think the coldest day I seen was going to be 55 for a high. We had a chance of showers one day. May have been that day. I think that may have been Thursday. That's just the day I'm going to be there. Not even part of the event, I think. But the other days were in the low to mid 60s. Looks like it's going to get cold overnight. So the mornings are going to be cold when we go out in the morning. But looks like by midday it'll be decent.
It was 29 here this morning when I got up. So
yeah, there was frost outside this morning too when I left.
Anybody that's still in the chat that's going that wants to just kind of at least meet up and meet and greet, please drop me either some kind of way to communicate on the community tab. Hit me up on Facebook, whatever you want to do, and I will gladly share, and so that we can all, you know, hang out and spend some time together. Most of our Monday Digs crew is going to be there, and then there's going to be a few others lurking in and out and about. So we're going to have a pretty good time while we're there. But anybody that wants to come hang out and meet up, I'm looking to meet with everybody that I can. That's part of my goal for the season. So Swampy's in the house too. He says GE. Talking about Mr. Goat. But anyway, long story short, I am definitely, you know, if you want to know where we're going to be hanging out and stuff like that, just hit me up. You can hit Practical Ken, B Higgles, or We Dig It, Gene up. We'll all be together, and then a mystery fifth for sure in our room. We don't know who that is yet for sure. We have an extra bed in case somebody finds themselves homeless. So. Yeah, you know what? And then that was like, you know, like Tim and I talked. I was going to have Tim stay in it. Not exactly sure what that fifth bed entails because it's kind of out and about. So, but if anyway, he gets first dibs if we don't find if he needs it. So,
yeah,
but anyway, dude, I am not going to be around next week. I would, you know, next time you're in here, I think we ought to show some pictures of all your freshly brought home stuff, make a display or something. Hang out a little bit, and then next week we'll talk about beach digging and my vacation while you were gone, or next time, which will be 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I'll have a few other things to do at that time. But like I told you folks, I thank you guys for coming in tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to knock it down a little bit early today, just because I've got to take the boys to work here shortly. They're working an extra night this week. But everybody that shows up in here and hangs out with me, I definitely appreciate and love you all. You guys are always fantastic. You show everybody great respect in the chat, and it's a lot of fun to sit and have a conversation with whomever with you guys in here. You guys are fantastic. I don't have no grief from y'all. Miss Sonia, love you too. Lou is in here from Indiana Tones. I wish, is Lou going to Dig Stock? Come on, Lou, you ought to be going to Dig Stock. Thanks, Zach. NorCal, I appreciate you. Definitely. I think Indiana Tones should be going with us. He should be coming up, Mr. Lou. Jim, I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys enjoyed. I put a lot of effort into trying to make a good time.
Where's he at? New Jersey?
Lou?
Yeah.
He's in New York somewhere. I'm not sure which borough he lives in, but he's in the city.
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Next week, FL Thunder Digging with Rob. Should we have a good show for you all on Thursday? And we are going to get a little overlay screen here and show you some beer and get the heck out of here. Later, everybody.
Later.